Hi YouTube, how you doing? I'm doing okay, not bad. Glad Mother's Day is over. Doug went and got a frozen pizza and some cheesecake and ice cream, so yeah, we did celebrate a little bit. I think he watched my video talking about it. Yeah. Anyway. No, I'm not his mother, but it was nice to celebrate it a little bit. My daughter-in-law and my grandkids sent me wishes for my day, and the same with me for her, because she's a good mommy. So anyway, that's not my topic today. I'll get to that in a second here. My topic is religion and mental illness, and conspiracy theories and mental illness, and to me, the nature of a warring mind with any excuse of murdering another human being. I mean, when anybody hurts another human being for any reason and can justify that, I don't know how they can within themselves, but within their religious wars that they swear are holy, full of holes, of course, but holy, that's a whole nother thing. But just a minute, I want to pull up something. Yes, I am going to share a link. I'll put it in the description. I'll tell you what it is here. I've heard it before, but people need to know this. What the mental health community, how the mental health professionals view your faith in God. It's by Nothingness Antidote to Narcissism, Sam Vaknin, Baknin, Professor Sam Vaknin. It wears many hats, but he's got a video on his Nothingness channel. Our delusional lives where psychology fears to tread. And he was talking about, like, with people blindly following Donald Trump and that type of thing, that nobody spoke up about Trump's psychology and mental health issues that a professional would pick up on his personality. Oh yeah, I did. I have probably at least a dozen videos talking about Donald Trump's psyche. Oh, absolutely. Some of us spoke up, not, I don't know, if they wanted to remain in the public eye and weren't protected by the dark force, or just kind of walking the fence, they probably wouldn't say anything about it, typically. But yeah, that's a can of worms, So, just a moment here. Cheers, everybody. Mental health and religion. Whose religion? Are you hearing voices? I'm not. I feel things. That's me. I know Christ's blood runs through me, and the mind of God with that within me helps me to do the right things in life that are ethical, So that's some things. Now, there could be people like Professor Bachman with a extraordinary mind. Doesn't mean I agree with everything he says. And ethically, we have a separation ethically. And being that there is a spiritual nature to us, this omits all that. This omits any thought, faith, hope that you or I would have in eternity. This negates that philosophy of viewing people. Freud said it, so of course it has to be right that you're pathological if you believe that you have any communication with an outside source. You're pathological. You're mentally ill if you hold to any religious beliefs. Rituals and sacrifices, are they excluded, or is that okay for just a certain cult? But no, that's not a religion. It's just a bloodline, right? And anybody else thinks because we didn't make ourselves and we give credit to the one that did, oh, we're crazy because we know we didn't make ourselves. So that makes us totally mentally insane, better than criminally insane, albeit, but totally retarded. I feel so regressed because I haven't fallen prey to the dark force that leaves everybody alone with their thoughts and without true guidance of goodness. So, of course, he knew I was going to talk about this. Yeah. I know when I'm being baited. That's okay. That gives me the opportunity to speak on it. And we all know it's just like with any heritage, there's good and bad people out of any walk of life. So it doesn't matter with that, you know. There's little cottonwood tree thingies flying all over through the air, and I just feel totally allergic to the day. But it'll be okay. Yeah. My throat's a little sore too from coughing. So, yeah, and you would think that the cigarettes bother me, but they don't. Like right now, I'm not smoking. I'm more bothered by the air than I am by my cigarettes. Yeah, I know that doesn't sound real. Well, it doesn't sound real that, why wouldn't people believe that somebody made them for a reason? That's the part I don't figure out. It's like when you have your parents and they decide to have a family. Used to be kind of a planned thing, but people don't a lot. Or they're planning not to have children because they've been brainwashed into the only too many people that are on this planet aren't Khazarian. Otherwise, if you're Khazarian, there's not too many of them, you know? Even in any Jewish or Zionist type of religion, we all know that there's like two types of Christians and two types of Jews and whatever, whoever and whatever, whether you're Islamic, Muslim, whatever you claim doesn't necessarily mean that's your walk and your faith, or even if you're faithless, you could be a better person than those that claim they are of good faith, so, and that has yet to be determined, with everybody. So, Doug's gonna make me this thing he's been doing. He swears it helps. Like, he had neuropathy in his feet, and I had a really bad injury to my leg. Not really self-induced, but I have some really bad injuries. Well, anyway, he's gonna make me this thing that's grounded by copper from the outside, but I can't put copper next to my skin. I'm deathly allergic to every metal except for platinum and stainless steel. So, yeah. Anyway. So, yeah, he's going to make me this thing off into La La Land. I was thinking about jewelry I can't wear. So, anyway. Well, I have some that I can, but anyway, getting back to the point, he's going to make me this thing with the copper wire that's grounded from the outside, but I can't put the copper on my skin like he can, so he's going to use a piece of stainless steel. I go, you want me to, like, for on the bottom, we were thinking like my ankle for my injured leg, or nah. And just now it's going to be like a plate that I can put the sole of my foot on that has more pores than any other part of my body. And it's going to be made out of stainless steel. So I etched out my foot for him. It was a cool looking foot. So he has a pattern of my foot to make this thing for me. So anyway. That's cool. I'll let you know how it turns out. Well, I'll show it to you when he gets it done. And then I don't know that I need any more electricity inside me, but God knows what will happen with all that. Yeah, I don't know. I have a really strange video of electricity coming out of this wall. It doesn't have any electricity in it, and kind of like reaching out and going around my head. It looks just like this with electric. I was talking about Satan, and then boom, just like that. It's like, okay, that was weird. And I went back and I captured it at the 2:49 mark, and that's in my videos. I put that in my playlist of check this out too. I'll pull it up sometime for those of you that are into abnormal things on this planet that we can't prove. I mean, you can't actually, like, if lightning struck you, yeah, there'd be damage, but could you prove it was lightning? I mean, you could say it was, but it's just as uncatchable as a spirit would be. Well, I guess too, you can capture spirits within bodies. You can capture electricity within containers. Doesn't always mean it's going to stay there, but we can capture it, you know. Anyway, so that will be exciting. I've been electrocuted pretty bad sometimes. I had this one house I was renting, and I was out in the country, pregnant, and had one kid already. And the father wasn't around much. Well, anyway, this house would electrocute me every time I went to like do dishes or taking a bath. I had to keep my kid away from the faucets and everything if the water was running, because if he got shocked, he probably would have died. But the baby inside of me was getting electrocuted anytime I did. So I did move. Needless to say, I had to. I didn't have a choice. The landlord wouldn't come and ground it. And this was one of these times in my life where I don't always let people know what's going on with me. Like the father didn't even know I was pregnant for almost 4 months because he would have done something to the child, I'm almost certain. And I was in a position where I couldn't really help myself at that time in my life. So, and a lot of that had to do with emotional stuff, you know, devastatingly. So, but I overcame a lot of things, and I accredit it to God, and I don't care who says what. I mean, it's just like the telepathy a mother has for her child. It's a real thing. You know what your kid's thinking. You know, you can feel it, you know. And if you're not a mother, or if you're not a spiritually inclined person, you're not going to know that feeling because that's not you, you know. But to call, I think somebody is crazy not to believe in God, and somebody else is going to think I'm crazy because I do. So I guess it depends on who wrote the book on psychology. What this person saying, like Sigmund Freud, and I mean, let's put it this way. When people are addicted to hard drugs and have incest in their history of family and no faith of God, what kind of book are they going to write? It's not going to represent you or I that have faith in God, because they don't have any reason to have faith in God. You know, anything they wanted out of this world didn't include God. So that's where we're at with the mental health professionals that don't represent God. They're viewing those of us that do as insane. And it doesn't matter if they are actually diagnosed with a mental health problem themselves. They're going to deem you or I for believing that we have a spirit that guides us as crazy. Now, we know they have a spirit that guides them, but they won't admit it. And the ill repute manner of the books that they write is proof within itself that they are not in their right mind. They've got it in writing, just as we do. If you believe in a scripture, you have it in writing. That's your faith. Now, I know the twists and the turns within the scriptures in different languages, and when and why they did these things to us. Even the falsity of a lot of what it was that God produced as real, as proof to these freaks that thought that they were playing a joke on mankind, that God wasn't real at all, but we'll just write this bullshit and make them believe it. Like the book of Revelation. Just fear tactics for everybody until God said, okay, you think this is funny? I'm going to show you how funny this isn't. I'm going to prove to you that I exist, is what God is saying, through His people. And it will leave no room for doubt. The spirit of the fighting for our Father, our Creator, that is in us. That can't be taken out of us. So, I'm still iffy on the spirit within Derek Bros. And Derek, if you're watching this, you had a really good live stream last night. The work you put into the video that you showed was a description of how the people in this world feel about the dark force and what we're doing about it together as a team. That was a great message. Now, like I say, how deep his faith goes. Let me reword that. 'Cause like those of the Jewish persuasion would call you or I like their cousin. And I heard that out of Rabbi Simon Jacobson yesterday. Well, I take somewhat of offense to that because we're all brothers and sisters within the human family. So, I didn't really appreciate the separation in his soul for that reason. But that just showed me his true colors. That's okay. But that's neither here nor there. I did share his video for the main reason he was speaking against the protests that are supporting Palestine, and which was a really good message. And I have love in my heart for these people. It's not, because although they're related to Khazarian Jews, they know the whole thing. Except for Rabbi Jacobson isn't being as honest about things as Derek Bros is. And it took some time, and it takes a lot of fortitude to get out there and speak against the establishment, no matter what. It really does. It takes a lot of strength, or it's part of the dark agenda of reeling people in until you slap them in their head. That might be what's going on. Either way. I have a tinge of distrust for the two people I just mentioned. So, and it's just there. There's nothing I can do about it. I mean, it doesn't mean it's not going to go away in them. I believe it will. That's what my faith tells me. And that's how I can see things that I wish and hope for to come in fruition, because I've seen it happen before many times in my life. Like, I hope for something, I don't always get what I wish for, but in other weird ways, like even with a failed marriage, just say like what between my kid's father and I don't see that as a failure. I see him as the sperm donor he was for the spawn of Satan to give them a second chance on this planet, putting it bluntly. So he thought he was using me, but that's not really what it was. So we'll see who wins on that. Still. Because, like even with my kids, you know, like any fine demon that is agnostic or whatever you want to call yourself, me being under your skin probably isn't something you want. It's not something you probably go out of your way to obtain, but that's the way it is, and this is what God is telling you. God is telling you, and this is my interpretation of the Spirit of God. He's telling you, I am in you, whether you like it or not. It's up to you whether you want to learn how to cohabitate or not, because I own the flesh, and there's nothing you can do about it. And when you're done with it, you will have to beg for a home for your soul, unless you don't think you have a soul. Because Satan cannot provide any of that for you. None of it. He's not capable of creating anything unless there's some substance that's already there out of the elements. There's nothing brand new he can make. So that God did not create to begin with. So I would encourage whether you're a conspiracy theorist or a fact portrayer, a Christian, a Jew, whoever and whatever, I would encourage you to listen to what the mental health community has to say about you and how this will affect the up-and-coming generations with the thought process towards you or them. It's a really important thing to understand psychologically that war and combating that war. And I give all credit to Sam Vaknin for still, I mean, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm going to oppose him and he's going to oppose me. But he's still giving me the information to give to you that you need to know. It's 53 minutes out of your life to understand. You might not understand all the language or terminology, but you'll catch on. I mean, you're not stupid. Nobody's like that daft that you can't hear a psychologist or a medical doctor, combination author, whatever, speak physics. He's into physics. I mean, there's no reason anyway that you can't listen to viewpoints of society and the dark cabal that's coming down on us, and that gives you a great understanding into their psyche, you know, and how they think about or want to pretend that you're mentally handicapped because you know you didn't create yourself and you are a spirit in a body and you know that, you know. So anyway, they just know they aren't going to have any bodies when they're through using people, like Andrew's channel likes to say, crumple you up and throw you on the highway, or like a crumpled up sheet of paper they threw out on the highway or something like that, So I can hear Doug out there grinding metal. It'll be surprising whether it looks like my foot or just a piece of metal. It just has to be either just part of it where the it doesn't have to be my heel, the bottom part by your toes. That's the most effective part of your foot. So, but oh boy, I had a nail stuck through my foot. It impaled me. That in the arch of my foot. Really flipping hurt like you wouldn't believe. Wow. One time I was at the lake. My grandpa had a farm out by a lake, and I went to go into the water, and it was in the sand under the water. There was a piece of glass, and I split my heel open on this piece of glass about like that long, and I mean really bad, pretty deep too, and I felt it stung, and my adoptive mom says, "What's that by your foot? Are you bleeding?" I picked my foot out of the water. It's like, whoa, I kind of freaked out. It's like I was pretty small, you know. But I really do think I was supposed to be a sacrifice, but it didn't work out for them. The times they tried to take me out, it just didn't. And you'd think, because they had insurance on me too, both of us that were adopted. And when we were babies, all Masons, even when I met or talked to my birth father, every single person, and then when I met my birth mother and her mom, all Masonic connected. Even my grandfather was a cop, which is just another name for a Freemason, the Brotherhood. It's like, wow, the whole family, both sides, even all the adopted stuff, of course. It was just really a strange existence. But yeah, the times that they tried to take me out and it didn't work for them, that had to be really scary for them, I would imagine. So that's how I learned so much. Not from almost dying, but from them trying to kill me, and then understanding that the power of God was real, helping me, and there wasn't anything they could do about it to destroy me or that. And then I know they were afraid. And that's the only reason I got any help in learning the things that I know about that and how to operate within that and above them with all that. When you try and use mind control and hypnotism and all the rest of shit, that's why I don't talk to other people that say they're survivors of cult abuse or the Masons, or I won't talk to you. Whoever you are, it doesn't matter, because if you were susceptible to that, you're not like me, and I can't relate at all, because I combated this shit from a young age. Talk about psychological warfare. I was reading psychology when I was a kid. I didn't understand it, but I was reading it, and I felt it, and I lived it. It was constant combat, psychological combat and physical on a daily basis. It's still unrelenting, you know. So, well, I'm going to get this uploaded, and like I say, I would really encourage you to understand what the mental health professionals that aren't of God are saying about you and I. And it's really important for you to understand that and share this message, because they're coming after us from every angle. But your psychosis, your mental health, that's everything. And don't think that somebody says they're a religion, that they're the chosen, that this is making them godfathers of love to the whole world. That's not, I mean, talk about closing that book and smacking you on top of your head when they're done using you and taking your money. That's exactly what's going on. That's all that's going on with them. Otherwise, I wouldn't have heard the word cousin out of somebody that I chose to pay attention to. So, sorry, cousin, it's not going to work. And no, you're not above me. And no, you are not the only people in the world that have integrity and values. You think you are, but you're not. So, good luck with all that. So, okay, everybody. I appreciate you joining me. And I do love y'all no matter what your future holds. I know what mine holds, and I do have faith in that. If you don't, I imagine it would be a scary thing. And if you don't, I imagine that I would sound delusional. Doesn't matter. You know. So, just what is the integral part of a person's soul? And I'll leave you on that. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Have a good night or day wherever you're at.